Now there's the screen of the television, and there's a movie that's played on the screen of the television.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now there's movie one, there's movie two.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's different characters in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's Sim, character one, and Mitch, character two in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Now for the screen, which character is the screen's character? Does the screen have a character?
It's like there's two television sets.
No. Just stay with this one. There's one screen. There's one screen, but there's multiple characters that are appearing on the screen. There's character Sim and there's
Mm.
character Mitch. But what is character Sim and character Mitch made of? Are they not made of the screen? They're appearing
Yeah.
on the screen and they're made of the screen.
Yeah.
They're animated by the screen. They're moving on the screen. But is the screen moving? No. Now, when the movie comes to an end, what happens to the screen?
It stays there.
It stays there. For the screen, can it be there? The character can be here. Sim, the character, can be here, traveling to there. Mitch, the character, has a different here, traveling to a different there. Sim, the character, has a different script, and he's in different scenes. And the character Mitch has a different script and a different role, and he's in different scenes. Sometimes they're in the same scene together. A lot of times they're in different scenes, not together. But we're asking, what's the nature of Sim, the character, and the nature of Mitch, the character? What are they made of? Are they not just made of the screen? They
Yeah.
are. And there's just one screen. And the screen is always here now. The screen is always present. See that the character Sim, he's absent in some scenes. He's not present during the entire movie. Even when the movie ends, then another movie comes on. And then when that movie ends, then there's no movie. This is like the waking state, movie one, the dream state, movie two, and deep sleep state. No movie, just the blank screen. But does the screen ever disappear? Is the screen ever absent? No. Now, good things and bad things can happen to character Sim, and good things and bad things can happen to character Mitch. But for the screen, is there actually a good and bad? No. Does the screen ever get wet, or does it get burnt by the movie that's being played on it? No. And isn't the screen at all times beyond the movie? The contents of the movie, the screen is always beyond the contents of it. It's unaffected by the story. Characters come and go, they appear, they disappear, they change, they start, they end. But the screen doesn't share any of those limitations of the movie. The screen doesn't come and go. The screen doesn't appear and disappear. The screen doesn't start and end, and the screen doesn't change. There's nothing that's happening in the movie that can tell the screen about the screen. The screen doesn't share the limitations of the movie. The entire movie is limited. We know this. The movie's going to last for 2 hours. It's a limited, it's time. There's a start and there's an end. There's a duration. There's a storyline. That's time. But the screen is outside of that time. The screen is timeless. There's space in the movie. This character is traveling from one space to another space, but the screen is outside of space. The screen is outside of space and time. Yet, space and time appear on the screen. Now, the characters are made of the screen. Now, shifting the analogy, this screen is actually consciousness. And it's not a 2D screen. Character Sim, character Mitch is made of consciousness, the one consciousness. Every appearance is appearing on the screen of consciousness. But consciousness does not share these limitations of the appearances that appear in it. Can you see what I'm pointing to?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're experiencing that stillness and the silence, it's the screen that's silent. It's the screen that's still. It's not the character that's experiencing the screen. The screen is aware of itself. The screen is aware of itself, and the screen is aware of the entire movie, in which that entire movie is made of the screen. And when you think that you're just that character and you're limited to just that character, I'm saying, well, what is that character made of? Who are you? And you can't find any separate entity as the character. You try and touch the character. I try and touch this. I'm trying to touch you. I'm just touching the screen. I'm reaching right now. You see my hand? I'm reaching. I'm trying to touch you. I'm just touching the screen. Just like we think that there's some sort of separate me in here. And I'm like, okay, let's find it. Let's touch it. Where's this me? Whereabouts is it? Is it somewhere in here, up here, down here? And we reach for it. And we only find, we're searching for it, we only find consciousness. When we remove everything that's non-essential, remove the past, remove the future, remove that whole storyline, remove the story, remove the role, remove the identity, remove everything, what do we find? We find the screen. When I say let's remove everything that's non-essential, it's like we just turn off the movie. I say, well, what's left? And you're like, it's just the screen, nothing. Right? You're saying nothing because you're so focused on the movie. I say, but there's not nothing. What is still remaining? And you're like, the screen. So what? Like, isn't that the reality of everything? You've always been just watching the screen, but you've been overlooking the screen your entire life. It's always been here. Consciousness. It's what you are. It's what you've always been. You can't be anything other than it. But it's so close because it's what you are. You've been overlooking it. Just like you can watch a 2-hour movie and overlook the screen the entire time. The movie feels real. Oh, there's the mountains, there's landscape, there's, trees, there's a lake, someone jumping off a building, someone's flying, spaceship. All of that stuff happens in the movie. Looks real, but what's the reality of it? Isn't it just the screen that you're watching? It is. So it feels real, but from the perspective of the screen, it's like nothing's happening. Nothing's happening to the screen. It's very similar to waking up from a dream at night. Like, like just after 2 minutes, you wake up from some nightmare, you're sweating, and then a minute after you go, you don't even care about it. Nothing happened. That wasn't actually like that wasn't me. That wasn't real. There's this feeling of like relief. The screen is never affected by the story. When the character comes to an end, the screen doesn't come to an end. The screen has always been here. It always will be. Because this screen that we're talking about metaphorically it's an infinite screen. We can find an edge to this laptop screen, but this screen of consciousness that's not two-dimensional, it's actually the screen of consciousness is actually without any dimensions. There's no left, there's no right, there's no up, there's no down. There's no border, there's no boundary. It's non-local. It's non-linear. There's no shape, there's no texture, there's no size. It's transparent. You can't see it. I can see this screen like an object, but the screen of consciousness, I can't see it. It's not an object. You can't see it like an object. In the movie, the characters appear on the screen like objects. The buildings appear on the screen like objects. The mountains appear on the screen like objects. And what are those objects made of? And they're also made of the screen. So then if we go a little deeper, is there actually any objects? There's no objects. It's all just the one subject. This is non-duality. There is no subject object. There is no you, me. It's just simply the screen that's aware of itself right now. Now, how do you feel energetically? Don't think about it. How do you feel energetically?
Very still.
Mm-hmm. How big do you feel energetically?
Big, big enough.
Big enough.
Uh, Big enough to not feel the need to be bigger.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're located in any specific space?
Just here.
Okay. And when you say here, you're not saying here as in right here in the body. Aren't you saying here as everywhere? There's a feeling of not being local, not being localized.
There is expansion, but it's like
Mhm.
still localized expansion.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's not going everywhere.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like you're trapped in your head though anymore, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you notice any release out of the head? Did you notice any feeling of this feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of felt like your brain was getting bigger, bigger, bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It right here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can't see my hands,
Oh,
but
your head's so
like
big. Yeah. How do you get through the door every day with that big head? Right? Yeah.